fairness to the global trading system and grow the U.S. economy. But here's how ABC's Mary Bruce spins it.
The country and the world bracing for impact as President Trump prepares to unleash reciprocal tariffs on America's trading partners, what he's calling Liberation Day.
What they do to us, we do to them.
But it remains unclear what exactly the president will announce today. The scope of these tariffs and which countries will be targeted still unknown.
Now, the White House is reportedly considering a 20% charge on most goods and services. That would be dramatically lower than, for instance, India's tariff on auto imports. They are at 70% or more. The announcement is scheduled for 3 p.m. Central Time in the Rose Garden today. Well, here in Nashville, the bill that allows schools to turn away children in the country illegally or charge their families tuition has now advanced in the state legislature.
The Senate Finance Committee voted to pass this bill yesterday. The bill now moves to the full Senate for a vote there.
Channel 4's Alexandria Adams, the House version of that bill, that's sitting in the Government Operations Committee waiting for debate. And the date for the debate and voting has not been set. Drivers who routinely take I-65 should get ready for some big changes. TDOT kicking off the third phase of a project that will ease congestion, but it'll cause congestion in order to get there. The area that'll go under construction over the weekend focuses on a 3.4-mile stretch of I-65 from State Route 41 in Sumner County to Rivergate Parkway in Davidson County. Now, that interstate goes from 4 to 6 lanes with this project. They'll replace 8 aging bridges, too, among other things. Construction lasts through November of 2027. The House Task Force on Declassification of Federal Secrets held its first hearing yesterday. The members poring over the JFK assassination documents. Filmmaker Oliver Stone wants another crack at it.
Let us reinvestigate the fingerprints of intelligence all over Lee Harvey Oswald. From 1959 to 1960, his violent death in 1963. And most importantly, this CIA, whose muddy footprints are all over this case.
Now, Gallup polling as recently as 2023 has consistently shown that a majority of Americans believe that more than one person was responsible for the assassination. Market numbers brought to you by Beacon Capital Management, online at beaconcm.com. We've got Dow futures down 313 right now. NASDAQ futures losing 225, and the S&P futures are down 53. That's the latest news, traffic, and weather next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News. Okay, still looking at delays on 65 northbound in Spring Hill between Saturn Parkway and Thompson Station Road overpass. That is just stop and go traffic. It looks like it's just some volume there. A crash reported in Nashboro Village, Murfreesboro Pike at Bell Road, and then another one in Avondale at West Trinity Lane, westbound side before I-65. Traffic every 10 minutes every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
.806, Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Want to welcome Congressman Tim Burchett to the program. Congressman, always great to have you on. So Speaker Mike Johnson has now sent everybody home. I want to get into this because there's a lot of folks that are not happy with the way this turned out. Both sides, folks are upset. So let's get a couple of questions answered real quick. So you decided that you would go ahead and vote for proxy voting with Anna Paulina Luna. You were one of 9, and the entire Democrat Party also voted for this. And so you were one of the 9. Tell me why you voted for proxy voting when the majority of Republicans don't want it.
That's correct. I voted for it because it was specifically for pregnant women. I think when the rules were written, obviously it was just a bunch of old white men. And if we're the party of families, that should be the one exception. And the irony of it all is every single member of Congress, maybe, except for myself, I've never been absent and had somebody vote for me by proxy. And, the speaker has voted multiple times, and we had one member I think I knew voted 34 times, a Republican, and so I just did not think that was the beach to die on. And what they did was we have what's called a rule, and you pass a bill, and there's 2 ways it goes. It either goes by like a consent calendar. I've passed laws by consent. Everybody agrees to it, bipartisan, what have you. And then if it goes under what they call the rule, then it goes to the Rules Committee, and they decide the amount of debate and if any amendments can come on it. Case in point, Speaker Pelosi's transportation bill that she changed everything, suspended the rules so there was no debate, there were no amendments to be put on it, and she changed the entire bill. That is not what this is supposed to be for. And so the bill went under the rule, as they call it, and then they decided to put all the bills together, which was a tactical error on our part. There's no reason to do that. You can divide them up individually, and then you vote on the floor for the rule or against the rule. I voted against the rule. It was a strategic move. I thought that our party, we missed an opportunity on this one. We are the party of families. Ultimately, and when they tied it all together with the other bills, I just don't think that was a good move on our part. And that's what happened. It's a confusing situation. I did not vote against all the other things, and to say that, we stopped DOGE, the truth is that those bills will probably never pass in the Senate. The SAVE Act might pass, but we did not delay it because the Senate can bring it up right now. But they won't. It'll be weeks, if not months, before a lot of these bills ever pass. So there was no delay. There was no reason to send us home. We could have continued on with our committee work, and there's a lot of confusion there. If committees are meeting or not, I checked with my committees, and they all shut down. So I just came home and I've got meetings scheduled here in Tennessee, so that's where I am.
So I guess, Mike Johnson, I don't understand why it is that he chose to tie all of this together. I mean, it's safe to say, I believe, that what he was trying to do was pressure you 9 not to side with the Democrats.
Right. Yeah, but, well, it wasn't siding with the Democrats. It was just voting our conscience.
Right.
And they'll tell you, and I've heard them say that this is a product of the minority. That's what this is used for. But Greg Steube passed a bill last Congress when we were in control, and it went through there. And the way it works is, because the House of Representatives is supposed to be the voice of the people. You're not supposed to have one king that runs it. That can just stop it. So this allows you to petition the members of Congress. If you have a majority of members of Congress that will sign an agreement, there's a form you sign down front that allows you to do that. That allows you to bring a bill up without having to go through the Rules Committee. Because the Rules Committee, I asked to be on the Rules Committee. Speaker McCarthy would not ever put me on that committee. Obviously, you want people that are going to do whatever the Speaker says, and I don't. And this is it was put in place for a very good reason. If you have a Speaker that's, say, if you have a Democrat Speaker, we've done it in the past. We found bills that Pelosi didn't like, and then we were able to get enough Democrats and enough Republicans together to sign. I think it's 214 signatures is what you have to do. So I think people are, when they put this stuff out on the internet, they're being disingenuous and they're inaccurate of the way it works. Every bill will be up next week, probably, if leadership wants it to be. If they want to drag it out, that's fine. You know, this is just and this is the thing that every Republican voted for, to allow this type of thing to happen. So if they don't like it, they should change the rules. But what they tried to do was use the rule to change the rules, which to me is not what it was intended for.
Well, Congressman,
So,
you nailed it when you said that it was a tactical error by Speaker Mike Johnson. It seems to me like, regardless as to whether or not you agree or disagree with proxy voting, it was a catastrophic error, in my opinion, for Speaker Johnson to tie those two together. They can bring these bills back, single bill form, I suppose. There was no reason to send everybody back. I think possibly what I'm seeing some people saying is that Johnson is going to try to bring this back. They are very much against proxy voting, and I think they say there's constitutional concerns. They also say that they want House members to be able to be in D.C. to defend their votes, defend their legislation, go after the legislation that does not work within, their party, but it's like the Democrats and their legislation,
Right.
so on and so forth. And so,
but let me correct you on one thing,
Yeah.
though. If it is unconstitutional, and they are so adamant about that, why did every single one of them vote by proxy? And I did not.
during COVID.
During COVID. And you know good and dadgum well that a lot of those, I mean, when you voted 30-something times and that's not the Speaker, I'm not knocking him, but if you voted 30-something times by proxy, it had absolutely nothing to do with COVID. I mean, you remember that. I don't know if you remember that or not, but I mean, we had members that you were voting, and one of them, I remember they were on a Zoom, and they were out with COVID, and then you could hear seagulls in the background, and they were on a boat, and even the Democrat leadership that was there said, "Are you on a boat?" And the guy's like, I mean, and you had them
Right.
hanging out at clubs and different things. So that was totally abused. But in the history of Congress, we have 14 members that have been pregnant. 14. And, to tie all that together over this, to me, I think is with everything going on in the world right now, I just thought it was a tactical error.
Well, Congressman, let me ask you. So when you voted for the proxy voting, clearly you knew that Johnson had tied these two together. So there must have been some hesitation on your part to vote for the proxy voting, knowing that Johnson was going to set you folks up to be the ones that are trying to shut down Trump's agenda.
Sure, but that's part of it. I mean, you got to vote by principle, and it was wrong overall. It doesn't matter if you're for proxy or not. Overall, though, I felt like it was wrong to use the rule to change the rules. That's not what it was designed to do. We vote every year. The first vote we make is on the rules of Congress. And every Republican voted to allow this type of thing to happen. And now all of a sudden, when it's used against us, it's, the world's going to come to an end. And the world is not going to come to an end. It did not slow the process down. If it did, by one day, I heard people saying, oh, well, now we can't get rid of these judges. Well, the Senate can bring up the bill any time and start that process. It will pass the House. We'll do our victory lap, and then we'll wait weeks, if not months, for the Senate to react to it, which they're having, they have to get 54 votes, and it's very difficult for them to pass anything right now that it has any partisan leanings whatsoever, because you have several Republicans that won't vote with the Republicans, and then you've got the Democrats with a slim minority. So there is no real delay of anything, and that's the basics of the whole thing.
As far as proxy voting, just a couple more points that I'm curious about. So from what I understand, the House of Representatives, y'all have in Washington, D.C., maybe it's in the, right there in the Capitol building, I don't know, but there is child care, from what I understand, there in the building itself, is there not?
That is news to me. I was told that yesterday, and that has never been. There's an area they allow if you want to. I think if your spouse or someone, or if you've got a babysitter, you can take your kid up there and do that. I do not know where that is. The speaker said yesterday that if they would pull the bill, he would provide a nursing room and all this other stuff, that they were going to provide all that for members. So that's news to me. I'm not saying it's not there. I just never have seen it.
So Johnson, I believe that what he's going to try to do is, I think what he's looking to do is like just basically park everybody for a couple of days. I think he's going to try to bring this back up. How much pressure do you feel to sort of do what Mike Johnson says, Speaker Mike Johnson does, and vote against this? Is there a lot of pressure from either Johnson, Speaker Johnson, or Steve Scalise, or others within your party?
Oh yeah. I mean, here I am. I have a bill to defund the Taliban. We're sending them $40 million a week of American taxpayer money is going there. Now we found out through a State Department document that that they've received something like $5 billion since the fall of Afghanistan that we sent to our enemies, American taxpayer money. And I've had trouble getting that bill on the floor. And the reason I've had trouble getting that bill on the floor, because it addressed the NGOs, the non-government organizations, that apparently is where some of this money's going. And when you close down the NGOs, you close down the Democrat Party's pipeline for money. And that is something that Elon told us in a meeting, that there is a paper trail, and he thinks it comes right back to Washington. Now, if that's the case, they're fighting that tooth and nail, and they won't allow my bill out. We got Republican chairmen that won't allow a bill out because the Democrats are raising so much ruckus over it, and our staff is raising so much ruckus over it. So that begs the question of where this money is going and who's getting it, and possibly is it going to both parties. And so that's the kind of thing that nobody's paying attention to. I can't get the bill out of committee, and you have to ask yourself, I mean, if this was in the state legislature, the governor would be calling my office and saying, where is this bill? Get it passed, get it up here so I can sign it. But that's the difference in Washington. $40 million a week that we know of, $5 billion going to our enemies. And that's the kind of bill that we're struggling to get out of committee. And then last week, one of the members had a very anti-Semitic amendment that they allowed, two of them. let's see, it wasn't Omar. It was
Rashida Tlaib?
It was Tlaib. Yeah, Tlaib. Thank you.
Shocker.
Yeah, I came to Congress with all of them. I mean, Rashida Tlaib, they allowed 2 of her anti-Semitic amendments on the floor because they wanted to put the Democrats on the spot to vote for it. And what happened? The 3 anti-Semitic members voted for the amendment, and everybody else voted against it. Yet I can't get my bill on the floor because they thought they would put them on the spot, and they didn't put them on the spot for anything. Guess what? They represent anti-Semitic districts. That's why they keep getting reelected. I mean, it's kind of a and that's the kind of thing I fight every day. And another bill I have dealing. We saw it in the news where they were selling our genetic information so that the Chinese developed these genomes, and we've been told that they're developing a genome to send a disease over to America, which is another shocker after we just come through COVID. And this one, though, specifically was going to target childbearing age women in America. So you talk about a devastating effect, and yet that bill is stuck again in committee. And those are the kind of things that you've got crooked lobbyists that are, funding campaigns or what have you. And those are the kind of things that get locked up in committee and nobody's paying attention to. But everybody is irate about proxies because that's going to ruin democracy. And those 2 bills could literally, when we're arming our enemies, that's when we got a real problem.
I think, Congressman, if I may, part of Congressman Tim Burchett joining us, I think part of what frustrates people, especially people like me who watch and look at this stuff every day, and I've spoken to most of our Congress folks over the years, this legislative trickery that Mike Johnson tried to do. And I think that you can be, and I'm just going to be honest with you, I'm against proxy voting. Okay, I'm against it, but I'm very against what Johnson did. I'm more ticked off at Speaker Mike Johnson for what he did because he's supposed to know his caucus. He's supposed to know his party, and clearly he doesn't. And so did you know how controversial this was going to be? Because there's a lot of people that are mad. Did you know this was going to be controversial when you signed on to the bill?
Yeah, well, no, I didn't. I mean, I had no idea where it would go. I figured what I thought was that the Republican Party would embrace it, seeing that that it was pro-family, pro-woman, and I just thought that was it would have been a good compromise to make. But I'm not blaming Speaker Johnson. He's got there's 435 of us, and ultimately, we've got a lot bigger. This will be, when you look back, I'd say in a month from now, this won't even be a blip. We'll be talking about the SAVE Act and things like that we passed that will actually cause some real will cause some real change in our country.
Well, and the last thing I'll say, Congressman, as you know, the special elections in Wisconsin went to the Democrats, which means that there'll be redistricting and you'll lose a couple of House seats. Yeah. How worried are you that your slim majority is going to get even slimmer? There's going to be a lot of pressure on the rank and file Republicans to stay organized and make sure that everyone is on the same page.
I'm concerned, honestly, but I look. I'm a big picture kind of guy. I think God is in control, and He might lead us through the wilderness for 40 years. And the biggest problem we have, as we've seen, is that conservatives vote in presidential elections, but then they don't vote down ballot. And that's, I think, what you saw in Wisconsin. We have a good game plan at the top. And I've always said that, is these local and state races are the ones that really matter. If we were to lose control of our state legislature and some things would flip, we would be in a really sad state because we've got a great business environment in this state, and people are, as you know, U-Haul. You see all those big U-Hauls parked in Tennessee. They're not parked in California because they've all come here. And so I worry I worry more about us doing things down ballot, as was indicated in Wisconsin. And we're going to lose I know one of the guys will probably be redistricted out of his district, and they'll put two Republicans together or something. And that's the cost of, if Republicans did that, of course, the media would be going crazy, but because the Democrats are going to do it, and we were asleep at the switch, we're not going to get there.
All right, Congressman Tim Burchett, thank you very much for joining us and having a conversation about all this. I know that there's a lot going on, and I appreciate the dialogue. It is 8:26 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Let's see here. Why don't we check in with Joan Jones? All right, we're running way late. I wanted to have a lot of time with the congressman. I think it was a good conversation. Joan, what's coming up in the news at 8:30?
We'll tell you where forecasters are saying 8 to 10 inches of rain could fall this weekend. That's coming up here at 8:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
.26 Nashville's Morning News. Dan Mandis here. And look, spring wedding season is, I think it's already here, actually. It's not approaching. It's here. If you're a bride, if you're a groomsman, bridesmaid, or a groom, and you're not exactly confident about looking your best, Contours Med Spa in Cool Springs, they can help you. Their red light technology is going to help you lose 2 inches across the belly on that first treatment, guaranteed. If you aren't happy, then you don't pay. And right now, that first treatment is only $99 right now when you call this number, 615-236-9960. The first 10 callers right now, you get that first treatment for $99. That is usually a $600 value, 615-236-9960. Whether it is a tuxedo, a bride's dress, a wedding dress, a bridesmaid dress, whatever. Maybe it's a bathing suit and you're not confident. Contours Med Spa in Cool Springs, they can help you get more confident. They can help you get into those clothes and help you, again, feel more confident with their ultra slim technology. It is FDA approved. It is incredibly unique. And these folks at Contours, they are one of the only places in Tennessee that does offer this red light technology. So this is for both girls and guys. Call right now. First 10 callers get that Belly Buster special. $600 value for only $99. 615-236-9960. ContoursLLC.com. Dan Mandis here for Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. Listen, it is spring rebate madness time at Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. Now listen to these rebates. A mini split 17 SEER or a heat pump 17 SEER, that is an $800 rebate. Duct sealing or repair, that is a $300 rebate. So many ways to save with my friends at Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. Join the Beehive Club today. You get a $50 rebate on your spring and fall tune-up. And that means that you've already saved enough money to pay for that Beehive membership for the year. They'll even file those rebates for you so you don't have to. They're always trying to help at Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. 615-775-7833. 615-775-7833. BusyBeeHVAC.com.
Good morning, 8:30. I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. Got to watch it tonight after 8 p.m. We'll welcome another round of nighttime thunderstorms, complete with high winds, perhaps some hail. Lots of rain is coming all the way through the weekend as well.
Flood watch is in effect starting today all the way through our day on Sunday. That's how much rain we're going to get through this period of time.
Channel 4's Stefano DiPietro. Now, got to watch it in places like Hopkinsville, Clarksville, Waverly, Murray, and Paris. Between 8 and 10 inches of rain is expected to fall there. But in all of the areas, there's a chance that these storms will spin off a tornado. So keep it here on 99.7 WTN to get all the latest information. The Supreme Court is hearing a case on abortion today. The question is whether South Carolina can prevent Medicaid funds from going to Planned Parenthood. John Burch from Alliance Defending Freedom will argue the case on behalf of South Carolina taxpayers.
South Carolina taxpayers, their dollars are being used to fund an organization which is lobbying against the thing that they want, as enacted by their elected representatives. It's kind of an absurd situation and just demonstrates why South Carolina needs to have the flexibility Congress meant to give it.
Metro Nashville police are right now working a shooting scene at a hotel in Madison. That shooting reported just after 1:30 this morning at the In-Town Suites on Maya Drive. The victim transported to a hospital. Money News brought to you by Beacon Capital Management, online at beaconcm.com. Opening bell has just rung, and stocks have dropped 309 points on the Dow right after the opening bell. The NASDAQ is down 247, S&P 500 index, that's minus 56. That is the latest news, traffic and weather. Next, I'm Joan Jones, WTN News.
Dan Mandis here for the Low T Center. Guys, if you're over 40, if you're running low on energy, or you're just feeling off, Low T Center is where you need to go. Get started with testosterone replacement therapy, or TRT, and join lots of guys who are going through the same thing as you. You know, they've got clinics all over Nashville, and they're really easy to get to. You walk in, you see a real medical provider, and you get that energy back. No complicated process, just results. And remember, these treatment plans, they're tailor-made just for you. And you can get treatments at the clinic, or you can be treated at home. But either way, you're always going to get the highest quality of care. By the way, here in the month of April at the Low T Center, you could get a free consultation. And if you qualify, treatment is covered by most major insurance. So reclaim that energy and become you again. By the way, they can also help you with prescription weight loss options as well. So head on over to lowtcenter.com and book your appointment. That's lowtcenter.com. Simple, quick, and totally worth it. I am Chris. You got Chris up too? I am running so late. I took this inside baseball stuff just for the stream. I've taken 3 breaks at like 23 or 53 after the hour.
What are you doing?
I don't know what I'm doing.
It's not like you. Is everything okay? Do you need to do the show via proxy?
Yes, I do. I need to do the show via proxy.
That's exciting.
Now, you're going to have Tim Burchett on, too.
Yes.
At 10.
Yes.
So,
he's getting a lot of heat.
He's getting a lot of heat. I mean, I did ask him if he knew it would be. The most interesting part of that interview is he said that he didn't know that it would be that controversial, which is, how did you not know that?
Well, I also didn't. I noticed that he said he didn't know that there was a daycare center in the Capitol. So it's like, are you voting without all the information at hand?
Right.
Because
Yeah.
that's an issue too. Like that creates a larger problem.
It does. I get where he's going with the whole, Republicans or the family values, but you know what? I disagree with proxy voting. Women all across America have to put their kids in daycare.
Yep.
I'm sorry. It's just one of those things. And especially if they do get free daycare.
Yeah, part of it, though, just feels like a fake controversy and
I call those non-controversies.
A bunch of finger pointing. Mm-hmm. Mike Johnson, could he have brought this stuff back to the floor? Yes. Tim Burchett, could he have not sided with Democrats? Yes. It just... it's a mess. And he's getting dragged for it.
Well, we have a crash on Murfreesboro Pike in Nashboro Village. This is at Bell Road, and that one's causing a lot of delays in that area. Crash reported would by Nolensville Pike, south of Thompson Lane, and watch out for one in Edgewood at Shelby Avenue and 5th Street. Traffic every 10 minutes every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Be peaceful, our big podcast, where our goal is to do the first one next week.
Let's go.
So, do we have the graphics and all that stuff?
No, not yet. We'll get them.
All right. Did you answer that email about all the questions? No,
not yet. Not yet.
If you handle the graphics,
will.
if you handle the graphics, I'll handle that email.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes.
I think it'll be fun. We could talk about proxy voting.
We can talk about proxy
Although
voting.
the problem is that
we should do our first episode via proxy.
Oh, back in 10 seconds. All right. See you in 10. (8:36) Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Welcome on in. It is time for the Chris handoff.
The dandoff is what some people like to call it.
The dandoff?
The dandoff.
Sounds like a character in Harry Potter. The dandoff. Anyway, whatever. Very good. Thank you. And Joan's here. Hello, Joan.
She's not here. She's MIA currently.
Every day. Every day at the same time. We do this.
She's letting the air out of your tires. What'd you do?
You know what? I don't have a Tesla, but I'd be willing to bet she's like keying my car. Taking a note out of the Tesla playbook. I don't know where she is, but that's fine. It's all good. KGB's here, and that's fine.
I can't leave because or else the show can't continue.
Mm-hmm. That's right. Anyway, so you've got Tim Burchett on at 10.
Yes.
At 10:05 or 6. So.
And then also Jason Whitlock's going to be in studio today at 11:05, so that's going to be a fun conversation,
wow,
too.
Jason Whitlock. I'm a big fan of Jason Whitlock.
He said to me, we were texting last night, and he goes, how far can we go on your show? And I said, well, we can do whatever you want. He goes, I think that there's a coordinated attack against white people. I said, all right, let's talk about it. So Jason Whitlock is bringing some heat.
Oh, yeah, he does bring the heat. As I said, I'm a big fan of his. I met him one time a couple of years ago at a radio event, and I told him, love what you do. He could have cared less. He was like, I don't know who you are or why you're bothering me with your little radio show stuff.
I'll bring it up.
But
I'll bring it up.
Oh, trust me when I say he won't remember. Okay.
I'll say, do you know Dan Mandis? Because you really hurt his feelings some years ago. That's what I'll lead with.
And see what he says.
That's what I'll lead with that.
You mean the guy that cried after we talked?
Oh, stop it.
I was going to say stalker, but no, that's not it.
Why are you even talking? I'm just kidding.
Wow. That was aggressive.
Oh, look who's back. Joan's back.
Well,
you know what? I'm so aggressive because I went for Joan Jones. I tried to talk to Joan Jones, and she wasn't here.
I'm so sorry.
He went for it, and he got denied.
It's not the first time.
Just like that April Fool's joke.
Yep. Anyway, all right. So, Joan, are you a Star Wars fan?
No.
All right. KGB is a Star Wars fan.
Yes, I am.
I'm a Star Wars fan.
My boys have just started watching the first couple of movies, and it's been really fun.
First is in 4, 5, and 6?
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
So they don't know anything about the story.
Okay.
They haven't been filled in, and it was kind of funny because my 7-year-old came down the other night. We set up the projector in their room. You know, they're having a big sleepover. They share a room anyway, but when we put the projector up, it's now classified as a sleepover. So they're very excited. And so they watch it on the big screen. He comes down. He looks at me dead in the eye. Bro, Darth Vader is Luke's dad.
Oh, that's great.
His mind was blown. And it didn't even cross my mind. I was like, I figured he would have known that just because you would think that these kids talk.
How old are they?
Brooks is 7.
No, they're not going to know that.
But
No.
it was this moment, this look on his face of just utter disbelief. And I was like, that's pretty cool.
You should have said, no.
Is that what I turn on the fan?
Once they get to episode 3, they'll know about the no. That's when that happens.
So we've been having fun with Star Wars.
All right. So Star Wars actor John, is it Boyega?
Boyega.
Bodega?
Boyega. That's Boyega. And he played, what did he play in the most recent franchise? I don't remember. What are you going to say? What?
What?
John Boyega. He was the guy that was in the Star Trooper outfit, right, KGB?
Stormtrooper outfit, but yes. He's
what did
Finn.
I say? Star Trooper.
You said Star
outfit.
Trooper.
Whatever.
He was Finn in the sequel trilogy, which is awful.
He was Finn. All right. So he said something that we might find interesting. You want to set this up?
Yes. So he's attacking fans of the franchise now, and he's saying,
always a smart thing to do.
Brilliant.
He's on the record, and I would just like to classify my 7-year-old and 5-year-old as lumped in with this group of people he's attacking, saying that fans of the franchise are racist white elitists.
Wow. Okay, well, let's listen.
They're pandering. Let me tell you, Star Wars always had the vibe of being in the most whitest elite space. Like, this franchise is so white that it's like a black person existing in that was something. And you can always tell it's something when some Star Wars fans try to say, well, we had Lando Calrissian and had Samuel L. Jackson. It's like telling me how many cookie chips are on the cookie dough. I'm like, bro, they just scattered that in there, bro. They're okay with us playing the best friend. But once we touch their heroes, once we lead, once we trailblaze, it's like, oh my God, it's just a bit too much.
Lando is one of the most important characters.
Well, you're clearly a rich racist elitist.
God.
Oh, yeah.
Thank God that bombed the last couple.
Do you know what I think is the funniest part about this?
I'll point out that Darth Vader was black.
Truth.
He wore black. I know. He wore a black suit. Sorry.
Also,
moving right along.
One of the things that I think is the funniest part about this
is
not the racist white people, but the racism that he completely avoids in the form of China. When they needed to get that movie going overseas, what they did on the movie posters was they shrunk him down to like microscopic size and put him in the back because the Chinese population weren't going to go to a movie with a black lead.
Well, and here's the other thing. He didn't seem to have a problem when he was auditioning for the role. He didn't seem to have a problem when he finished the first movie. They offered him the second movie and then the third movie of the last part. And so now that he knows that he's completely written out of the storyline, now he's going to come out and say all of these untrue things. But now he's going to start, speaking his conscience.
Yep.
So the guy he was always my least favorite.
Yeah, well, he was a terrible actor. He is a terrible actor.
Well, one of the funny things about him, and I remember this, is that he said, "Oh, I'm not doing any more Star Wars. I'm totally done." As like he's now suddenly too good for Star Wars.
Yeah. It's like when you get fired in radio and you're not getting any job offers, so you go, "I'm done with that medium."
Yes.
Yeah, and Star Wars totally isn't one of the most profitable movie franchises of all time.
Well, it was until they started force-feeding lesbians and diversity and everything.
And by the way, Darth Vader, the voice actor was black, so you can
actually
put that in.
You're right.
So,
I was talking about
James Earl Jones is one of the most famous voice actors of all time.
You didn't mention James Earl Jones.
Yeah.
Racist.
Well, because he doesn't know.
I don't know. I think he's obviously just very what's the right word?
Butthurt,
racist.
And by the way, in the first
well done, Chris.
The first movie he's in, he is on screen for all of it. He's like one of the main focal points in the first.
He was in the first scene. Remember, he was in the first scene. He was in the Star Trooper outfit, and then he took it off, and it's like, oh,
the plot starts with him. He is the center point of the first movie. Don't laugh at me.
I'm not laughing at you. Keep going.
I'm just saying, he was like a huge character in the first movie, and then they were like, okay, we're going to move on from him. And then, what is so funny?
No, Dan
is dying right now.
Dan, I keep giving him these looks whenever he gets close to the edge. I'm like, what are you going to say?
Nothing.
He took off the helmet and what?
Oh.
And he's trying to describe the character. I'm like,
No, you know what the thing is?
He's trying to describe him without acknowledging the race, because then it defeats the point of the topic. But I keep giving Dan the Jim from The Office look. I'm just like, what are you going to do?
Well, the more looks you gave me about are you going to mention that he is a black stormtrooper? But the more you gave me the looks, the less I wanted to do it, and then you just made me laugh hysterically, and now whatever. Anyway,
racist white elites. What are you gonna do?
That's crazy.
But here's the thing: it's like they say these things, and it's like, where's the justification for that stuff? Like, what are you basing that on? I'm reasonably certain. Who was the interview with? Do we even know?
No, I have no idea.
All right. Well, I would like to say, what do you base that on? Are you saying that, okay, then you know what I would ask him? Are you saying that you, yourself, as a black man, are you not a fan of the original franchise? That's what I would have asked.
That's a good question. That's a good See, this is why you should have done the interview, Dan.
I should have done. You know what? John Boyega? I'd learn how to say his name.
Boyega.
That just blows my mind.
Boyega.
So how much money did he get in that? Should he just give it all back? Or clearly it's tainted money.
Yep, that's true. Joan, you got anything for this?
Nothing.
I don't know if Chris is the one judging me or
Chris,
not. I don't know. I don't trust Chris right now because he's making you laugh every time I talk.
You know what? No, it's not you, KGB. It's Chris.
It's me? What did I do?
I blame you.
I brought Star Wars to the table because I knew you're such a fan.
Mm-hmm. I am a big fan because I'm a white, rich, elitist.
Yeah, apparently.
Number one, the only thing of those that I will cop to is being white. Because clearly I'm white. But, I mean, I ain't rich, and I'm not an elitist.
No. You are not.
No.
Let's see what the chat thinks.
I think is the chat still mad at you for being even semi-agreeable and cordial with Tim Burchett?
Hashtag cancel Dan is on the trending right now.
Oh, stop it.
I'm kidding.
I don't think I was cordial with Tim. Well,
You weren't.
I'm always cordial with Tim
You didn't get him. You didn't.
Well, what did you want me to do? Yell at him?
Was Joan in your ear beforehand? Get him.
I should have been.
Get him.
No, members of Congress have 4 lactation rooms in the Capitol and access to childcare on campus.
I did ask him about the child care.
Also,
and
he didn't know about that.
Anna Paulina Luna doesn't breastfeed also.
Okay, there's that.
That I didn't know.
But he didn't allow votes. He voted not to allow votes on stopping these district judges from these injunctions nationwide and voter ID. Those issues fell away.
Did you hear what his answer? Because I asked him about that.
I did, and I thought it wasn't sufficient.
And he said that they're going to come back in a day or two, and he's trying to say it's much ado about nothing.
Have you seen the calendar for Congress?
No.
Marjorie Taylor Greene posted it. It's the official calendar. Do you know that they haven't worked a full week all year?
Okay, so here's the crazy thing. That was their complaint under Kevin McCarthy.
They haven't worked a full week all year. They won't work a full month until October. Why
do we have it? I mean, all they do is go home. All they do is go on recess.
Preach.
You should see Friday afternoons in Washington, D.C.
Yeah.
1 o'clock in the afternoon begins the purge.
Everybody going home?
Everybody gets out of town. You can't get on you can't get on the Beltway in Washington, D.C. After 1 o'clock because everyone goes home. And that includes the federal government. I mean, it is mostly the federal government. Nobody wants to work in Washington, D.C.
Well, I don't think she ought to be working from home. And I don't think that proxy voting, and I told Congressman Burchett, I don't agree with you on this.
I got 6 weeks.
I have a bigger issue with Mike Johnson and the crap that he pulled. I mean, that for me.
I mean, I think that a lot of this boils down to not exactly this issue, but the issue of we're looking around and saying, what have you guys done to advance the Trump agenda?
Exactly.
Like this may be like a crescendo moment, but the anger and the frustration, and I think this is broader across the entire administration right now is, what have you done? The deportation numbers, lower than we need. The criminal charges from the Attorney General's office, the files that they said they were going to release, non-existent. Congress, I think the only thing they've passed is the Lake and Riley Act. Is that the only thing that they've passed since the Trump agenda has been enacted? So I think that while the frustration is here and it's going to be pointed at these 9, I think you could absolutely point the frustration at Mike Johnson. And I think that you can be honest about the administration as a whole so far, that like, wow, we've been really excited and we've been really happy, but the accomplishments aren't stacking up yet. Trump can't do it all by himself.
You're right. I mean, they need to codify these executive orders.
Yeah. So can we do some work? You haven't worked a full week yet this year.
I'd like President Trump to sign an executive order that says Congress has to stay in Washington for an extended period.
That
3
would be
months
awesome.
in Washington.
That would be awesome.
Working on the people's business.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see the Dems try to flip that, though. How dare he make us work for 3 months away from our families?
It's an 80-20 issue.
Yep. I mean, it definitely
Maybe
is
a
an
90-10.
Yeah. You're absolutely right.
Do you think more people, what was our final, when we did proxy voting earlier, KGB, what was the final tally?
It was like 77% no.
77% no.
That's what I remember.
So
might have been up in the 80s, but it was it was an 80-20 issue in a sense.
Yeah, it was. That's why I asked. It's an 80-20 issue. And I mean, the American people have to go to work. And the American people don't always get to work from home, vote from home, do all their stuff from home. And I think that we talked about all the things that people in Congress need to do. They need to defend their positions. They need to defend their party. They need to attack the other party and their legislation as well. You can't do that from home.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So,
to be fair, if I was hearing Cory Booker talk for 24 hours, I would want to go home too.
Did you listen to any of that, the Cory Booker stuff?
Oh, yeah. I played some of it yesterday.
I couldn't bring myself to listening to it.
Why?
Because it's, for starters, it's Cory Booker.
I'm one of the guys that'll slow down to watch a car crash, to see a car accident.
He also saved a puppy miraculously from a burning building during that time as well.
Car crashes are far more exciting than 24 hours of Cory Booker.
He saved the dog from freezing, the woman from the burning building.
I just combined both of those ridiculous statements.
Yeah.
Listen, he's Spartacus.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know what else to say.
That dog story still is crazy to me. Like how, the news van that saw the dog just waited till he got there to save the dog.
Now, okay, so we were talking earlier. How did he go for 24 hours without going to the bathroom? Like, people are saying there was an adult diaper.
There
perhaps.
must have been.
He was not on the floor the whole time. He allowed people to come in and speak in his stead for periods of time.
Well, they weren't supposed to do that because
he didn't leave. That's why he was allowed to keep going. He didn't leave the chamber.
He didn't actually leave the chamber. So did he have a bucket like what's his name?
There's a long history of adult diapers on the floor.
I was going to say, we had a president more than likely that was in adult diapers. So why not?
Especially after that incident with the Pope.
That's exactly right.
I brought it
all
up.
got fashionable after that.
Ted Cruz did that 21-hour thing. All he said was drink very little water, nothing in, nothing out. That's what he said.
Nothing in, nothing out.
I don't buy that.
I don't buy it either.
I don't buy it. Like, if you're a man of I don't know if you're a man, but if you're certainly a man of a certain age, you can not drink anything for hours. And you know what? You still have to go to the bathroom.
How much would you pay for a Joe Biden 24 hours, trying to talk straight for 25 hours?
Yeah, no thanks.
That would be hilarious.
That I couldn't listen to. But anyway, so there you go.
We'd hear the Amtrak story 30 times.
I was going to say, just have him repeat all the stories he's told over and over again. He won't remember that he said the same story 5 minutes ago.
But we would see a poop pans live on air, and I think that's well worth it.
Okay, very good.
8:54. It's a weird fetish you have.
No, me or him? No. Him, yes, I know.
What, Biden embarrassing himself? That's my comedy right there.
8:55, Joan Jones was coming up in the news.
Well, we've got more on what happened last night in Wisconsin that has negative implications for Republicans nationwide. Also, we're going to take a look at that stormy weather that is preparing to push right into Nashville. Those stories coming up here at 9 o'clock on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Thank you. 8:55, Nashville's Morning News on WTN. Dan Mandis here. You've probably been looking for cars. You've seen the words buy here, pay here, and it does make you think, it's not a place I want to go, and I do get it. Most of these dealers, they've got bad reputations. Well, I'm here to tell you there is one place you can go, Nolensville Road Auto Mart. Now, they're different for a few simple reasons. They've been doing business in Nashville for 61 years. They're Nashville natives that only sell clean title cars under $12,000. Now, if you're new to town, you need a place to trust, they got you. If you need a first car for a 16-year-old, well, they can help you with that too. You don't even need to take my word for it. Check them out on Google. The Google reviews are excellent, and that's saying something for a car dealership. One location on Nolensville Road, close to Thompson Lane. They'll get you in and out in an hour or less. And the best part, they're the oldest buy here, pay here in Nashville. And they work with your own financing if you want it or if you have it. Flexibility, transparency, and honesty. That is why I recommend Nolensville Road Auto Mart. Now, Chris, real quick, what do you got coming up?
We're going to be talking with Tim Burchett at 10:05, and Jason Whitlock is going to be in studio at 11:05. Plus, we'll talk about Donald Trump's message to defund PBS, and I have another excuse to play a clip of Elmo saying Happy Pride Day to put an exclamation point on that. So I'll do that as well.
You got the audio of Kid Rock talking about Bill Maher and Donald Trump meeting yesterday?
I don't have that audio, actually.
It's really good. I'll leave it if you care. I'll leave it for you if you want to play it. It's really good. It's a lot of fun. Kid Rock and Sean Hannity.
I'm looking forward to that. And then I did notice that he didn't wear the Evel Knievel suit yesterday.
No, not for dinner.
I'll be perfectly honest. A bit of a letdown.
All right, 8:57. We'll return next on WTN.